Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Leonaspogy, this time with a demo impressions of Ultra Age. Now let me start off by saying that Age is the name of the character, and I can almost imagine the problems going like, what's your name? Age. No, your name. I just told you. Told me what? Age. No, I asked you your name. Oh, I can also see that the dialogue is going to be like that. But that's the name of the character, and I thought that was funny. I tried this game and it looks like a good Devil May Cry slash Near Automata kind of game. It's an action venture game where you fight a bunch of enemies with your swords. You get several swords. Each sword goes against a particular enemy. You collect swords from crystals. Each crystal has a different color, so your blades or your weapons have a different color, and each one is used against a particular enemy, which I thought is pretty cool. Another thing that's pretty cool is that the blades actually have a durability to them, like it was a Monster Hunter. But instead of you can sharpen them and make them stronger, here you can't do that. You have a set number of blades that you can carry. The normal one, I think you can carry 20, and the second one, which is the strongest one, which is orange, you can carry 15. And then there's another one that you get at the end that I don't know how many you can get because I only got one. But I do like that you have to strategize a little bit how much you can use against how many enemies. Of course, they all do damage to all the enemies, but they do in different scales. So if you're using a white blade against an orange enemy, it will do a lot less damage than if using an orange one against an orange enemy. Now, enemy design is really simplistic. So was two kind of designs. One was like a cat or a puma or something like that with a twin tail, and robots. That's all I got. I mean, the demo is just in the beginning, so it's common to have that, but I was thinking they could have some kind of different movement between them, and they all look like pretty much the same. They all seem pretty generic enemies. They just swarm at you and you hit them, and that's it. The robots have a little bit more variation. There's the smaller ones, and there's the big ones, and at the end you'll find some of them that actually fly. They're like drones, so you need to use kind of aerial attack to get them. But there, the blades don't really matter as much, at least not in this phase of the demo, but they are pretty cool to fight. You have light and heavy attack, and you have dodge or run. Now, dodge and run are in the same button, a little bit like Genshin, which it's not terrible, but in Genshin and other games like that, you have a big area to fight. And here you have a small area to fight. And while you're jumping and rushing left and right, I would prefer they would put it in the jump button, like most games have. Like I think Near Automata had it like that in Devil May Cry 2. Here is in the rush, which I'm not accustomed. And because the area is really small, when you press it, it just runs. It doesn't do like a roll, which you can immediately identify, which is a dodge. Here is a run, so it's a little bit tricky to figure out if you really dodged it correctly, or if the AI or the enemy or the hitboxes just were in the wrong place at the wrong time and you got hit. Now, graphic-wise, it isn't amazing looking. I mean, it's polished, it looks good, but it's not an amazing look. Can't look at it and go like, oh, this is so photorealistic, something like that. No, it doesn't work like that. But I did like the aesthetic, the character's design and the enemy design. I think it's good enough. I think it's good enough for you to play. And since I like that, I can say, yeah, it's good. I would like to play more of this game. The beginning, the demo got me interested enough. I mean, the sights were pretty generic, pretty boxy, but I could also say that for Nier Automata, and then when you play Nier Automata, it's completely different. Looking at it and playing it is different, and here's kind of the same thing, and this is just a small demo, so I can't really judge the entire game just on this. Now, the demo is not without its problems. One of the first problems that I encountered at the end, is that nowhere in the tutorial, in the beginning of the demo, does it say that it has a lock-on feature. Now, many games nowadays don't have lock-on feature. Dota doesn't have it, Godfall doesn't have it, so you have to move the camera to face the enemy, and I thought this was the case, because the tutorial never told me that R3 actually works as a lock-on PlayStation. So I only found out against the final enemy, the final boss in the game, and that was a little bit of a bummer. They should have introduced that maybe earlier somehow in the dialogue or something like that. So there was that. There was also a problem where you have this light whip that you can use to pull enemies closer to you or for you to close the distance to enemies. And there are some crystals floating that you can use, that you're supposed to use, or supposedly you use to traverse the scenario and to get to a higher place. These crystals were bugged. They were not working, and when they worked, usually when you were fighting and the L2 to grab appeared, if the enemy was dead or maybe moved direction to another direction, it would grab the crystal. You would then be stuck in this hovering position, this jumping position, and you can land, you can hit, you could just hover around, fly around the scenario all the time. The first time this happened, I just had to close the game and then come in again. The second time it happened, I did manage to land and get the power up that I was looking for. But yeah, it's pretty bad bug to have on a demo. Now, as power upgrades goes, they work fine. I mean, these ones that you find in these capsules that look like Dragon Ball Frieza army capsules are the ones that you install in yourself. They're kind of like the chips that you have in your automata, and then there's others that you find in crystals. When you break certain crystals, they tell you that they increase either your damage or your armor or something. But a lot of those crystals also say that they will debuff something about you. They will take your health away or your armor away, or they will just plain do nothing. And these are not crystals for swords. These are crystals for upgrades. They are particularly kind of crystals for that. So I was like, am I supposed to collect them and then use them to forge something? Should I not collect them? And so it adds another level of strategize. Okay, how much do you have to pick up for this? Are there different crystals? One do some things and do others. And so doing my playthrough through the level, I have to strategize which crystals I want to pick up and which not. So yeah, it was a little bit left out in limbo. It wasn't really explained. So at a certain point, if I didn't see a plus on the crystal or something green or blue, I said I'm not gonna pick this up because I think I'm debuffing myself.
Let me see if it can be used.
Also, and this is going back to combat, sometimes I got stuck in the same combo. I was either switching swords or switching the combo, and most combos starts with light attacks and then end with a heavy attack, and some combos for the next weapon that you want to use start with a heavy attack. So you're trying to get out of that cycle of the heavy attack to start an heavy attack with the other weapon, and you couldn't. You just, you're trying to switch and to attack or attack and switch, and the combat controls weren't really polished, like I said before with the running and dodging. Here I found it troubling sometimes to, I want to stop this combo, switch weapons and start another combo, and then you have to take like a few half a second of time for the control that you inputted to register. So in a fast-paced combat like the May and your Automata, this really needs to be polished, because here you have just a couple of enemies, but further ahead you want to have bosses and bosses at aggro, and you want to do this fast. So this also needs a little bit polished before it comes out, or it's just going to be a confusion. People will be dying because I want to use the axe or I want to use the sword and I can't, and I got died because I was struggling with a controller. But the thing I really, really did not like was H's voice. I mean, it just sounds so flat. I don't know who did the voice for this, but they probably gave him a text, they gave you no context, and they said, okay, say these lines, and he said the lines, and that's it, because it really has no feeling in it. And sometimes it's the animation that's missing, because the feeling of the voice is there, but the character isn't doing nothing. It's really bland. It really looks like a cardboard cutout, and the voice may have a lot of emotion, but the character isn't doing nothing. This is not the case, because right after he speaks, Elvis speaks, and Elvis is your little ghost, a little sentient that walks with you, and he's really cool. I mean, the actor that the voice acting is really cool. It's engaging, it's fun, it's emotional. But Age, man, it's just flat, really, really flat.
What's so special about that thing? Elvis. I'll avenge you, if it's the last thing I do.
Wow, I'm touched.
What? It still works.
It's me, Elvis. Exploration Team Senior Agent 8. Remaining lifespan, 6 days, 12 hours, and 39 minutes.
I don't know if they're gonna redo the voiceover for the release, because the release is 9 of September, so it's practically in a week. But yeah, it did deserve a little bit more polish. If you want us to engage with the character, engage with the game, this should be better than what it is.
Okay. Stop. Jeez.
That said, I did have a lot of fun. I have a soft spot for the Omicron Near Automata action adventure slasher games. So yeah, I'll probably try this one. I'm probably not gonna get it as day one release. It's not that kind of game. It doesn't have that hype behind it. Maybe it will. Maybe it'll be really cool and people will start talking about it, and then I'll definitely jump in. But yeah, I want to play more of it because it sounds fun. I like the exploring part. I like the battle part. And yeah, I recommend everyone to try it out. The demo is right now on PlayStation Store, so try it out, see what you think about it. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and as always, have a great game, guys.